guys, it's Salima with Celine Moon Goddess Tarot, here with another tarot reading for you. Decided to do a reading based on whether or not you should set a romantic person free. And this could be a romantic person as well as a business partner, perhaps. But the purpose of this reading primarily would be for romantic connections. So situationships or someone that you've been dating for a period of time, someone you deeply care about, whether it's time to walk away from that connection and leave it or stay. I have 3 piles for you. I have the Crow Tarot with an amethyst. That's going to be pile 1. I have the Shadowland Tarot with the obsidian turtle. And I have the Sugar Skull Tarot with the selenite. If this is your first time here, the way this kind of goes is you're going to pause this frame, this picture, and kind of focus in on what pile calls to you. You could watch all the piles if you want. Some people do that just to have something to listen to in the background. And then also, kind of try to tap into yourself and your intuition and ask yourself which one, feels good to you. And then go ahead. I'm going to have timestamps in the description box below. And you can just click on your timestamp and go right to your reading. I really suggest or recommend that people use those because if not, you're going to listen. If you decide to listen to more than one pile, you're going to be listening to me shuffle the cards around and move the decks and, I don't know. Anyway, okay, so I have this incense going and it's pretty smoky, so apologies if it's distracting. But let's get right into it. I did want to mention, if you do enjoy my channel, if you can follow and like any of the videos or follow me, I would love it. I'm trying to grow my channel a little bit more, and I just enjoy doing tarot and want to get whatever message out to the collective. So that's why I do what I do. Because I have a day job. Oops, sorry. I hit the camera. Okay, anyway. So I will see you at your reading. Just as a reminder. Oh, wait, one last thing. If you are interested in a private reading, email me at celinegiftttarot@gmail.com and we can have a back and forth about pricing and all of that, but I'm doing private readings. So if you're interested, please go ahead and email me and we can talk about it. All right. So pile 1, the amethyst, pile 2, Shadowland Tarot, pile 3, the Sugar Skull. Let's talk about whether you should let this connection go or not. All right. I will see you at your reading. Okay, pile 1, here we go. You chose the amethyst. All right. I like the Crow Tarot. I have a thing for crows, I have to say. Ravens, actually, really, I just think they're magical creatures. And they're so smart. I want to say that I heard somewhere that they are, I don't know, have the age of like a 8-year-old child. I don't know. I might be wrong. Okay. So let's see. Now, here we are. I know this might be an emotionally charged reading, but let's just see where we're at with this person. And a lot of times we find ourselves in these situations where we are connected to people that are not, like, we're not on the same page about things, and letting go of a connection is a hard decision to make. Very hard decision. So let's see if we can help you out with that. Now, as a reminder, like if this is your first time here, tarot is a snapshot of the situation. So circumstances and things can change as far as decisions that people make or events that happen in the connection that are outside of your control. Take it with a grain of salt. Don't make huge I can't talk. Decisions. I bet you somebody's not talking in your connection. Decisions based on one tarot reading. Okay. All right. So here goes. Let's see. Pile 1. Should they walk away from their connection? Should they walk away? Yikes. Okay. I'm going to start with 3. How about that? Holy shit. Sorry. All right. Well, off the bat, this is a deep, heavy connection that's caused a lot of pain. Oh, and if you hear any like weird moaning in the background, I have my French bulldog here, Bobby, and he makes weird noises, so it's not me. Okay, so we have the devil. Okay. The devil can, signify, here, I'll put it a little closer so you can see. The devil can signify a lot of things, Usually it reflects and shows our ego. So all of the things the characteristics of humans that are not so great, like obsession and addiction and, narcissism, all of those things, that are just things that we allow ourselves to be chained to. We give permission to ourselves to have a vice that we, I don't know. I don't know why it is that way. I don't know. For me, I've tried my best in my life to examine myself in order to be better. Like if I'm at a spot in my life and I'm immature and all of that, I mean, I've had my heyday, believe me. It is where you're at, right? You don't know what you're supposed to know until you know it. And so I think that it is just one of those things that we just let ourselves be attached to. We don't want to let go of it. And fear has a lot to do with that. And fear also is a component in this card. But it also can speak to intense attraction. It can speak to this being a very one-night stand or a fast connection that was purely physical. Oh, sorry, I don't mean to do that. Purely physical. And just a sexual thing. But I don't feel it's the latter because we have the Three of Swords here. And the Three of Swords is a card about heartbreak. It's about, it can be about backstabbing. It could be about just having a lot of mourning or past hurts that you can't let go of, trauma that you can't let go of, or this actual connection has been a traumatic connection that you're still tied to for some reason. Usually the devil card is connected to, usually it'll have like something that looks like the devil and then to like a man and a woman that's chained to them. And here it's just a bird that's chained to this bird, to this crow. It looks like a little sparrow. So I'm not sure if you're the only one feeling chained here, or both of you are feeling chained and tied because there's this kind of trauma bond. I mean, if there were 2 cards to explain a trauma bond, it would be these 2. And then we have the Chariot. And the Chariot is a card about movement. It is a card about having gone through a lot of things. The story is that the Chariot, the warrior that's on the Chariot has been through battle. And he's passing by the Fool, who is also a major arcana character. In the major arcana, those are 22 cards in the deck there that are major arcana. And they speak to just more movement in whatever storyline we have happening here. And this is a movement about like going away from a situation. It's running away from it. It's saying, I already been somewhere that's been very, traumatic and painful, and I'm getting the fuck out of here. Okay. So, I mean, if I had to end the reading here, I would say, yes, it's time for you to go. That's exactly what I would say with these 3 cards. The other thing about the Chariot is that it does include bravery, being brave enough to walk away. I mean, there's tons of situations that people find themselves in that they just don't have the courage to walk away, or there are fears that they have about walking away, like, how am I going to support myself, like you guys live together, or how am I going to, if you have children, how are we going to work out the children's situation, or because of the devil, that if you did break up with this person, that it's going to be hell to pay, that like they'll make your life miserable if you walked away. Okay, so let's continue to get more of this story and see what else we got going on. Tell us more about whether pile 1 needs to walk away, Spirit. Whoa. Okay, we'll take those 2. I'm going to move the camera really quick because it keeps getting in my way. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So, all right, we got the 5 of Pentacles. So, okay, we got the 5 of Pentacles. We have the 9 of Wands. The Ace of Cups. Nine of Pentacles. Four of Swords. And the 5 of Swords. 7 of Swords. Okay. Interesting. Leave that right there. All right, so we have a lot more of the story here. Got 5 of Pentacles, which is about, it talks about being left out in the cold, not being desolate, not having money, not being able to provide for yourself, or being kicked out, being purposefully shunned. Excuse me. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry about that. I had to pause it because I had a little bit of a coughing fit there. So yeah, I think that definitely there's something to be said about the situation with feeling left out in the cold. After that, we get the 9 of Swords. Sorry. The 9 of Swords is an interesting card because the 9 of Swords, oh my God, the 9 of Wands, excuse me. The 9 of Wands is about a burden. It's about having a burden. It's about being in a burden, carrying one for a long time. You're almost at the point of giving up. Almost at the point like you're just exhausted, but you still have a little bit of get-go in you. You still have like, I could do this a little bit longer if I need to. But it's a heavy burden. Like I'm already injured. Usually it's depicted with a warrior that has, or a soldier that has bandages on his, head and is just exhausted. So these two cards kind of make me sad because I feel like your connection has been a very difficult one and a very, very painful one. And I feel like you've been feeling alone. I would say if I had to articulate it, I think being in a relationship where you feel alone is probably the most painful situation to be in, because what makes it painful, it's like insult to injury that you're in a relationship with someone and feel alone. That's like the one place you shouldn't feel alone. Ace of Cups, maybe you're at the last point of like, I'm going to make one last offer. Because it feels like to me that you've already made the decision that this is you're just trying to make sure, or you're just not trusting your intuition. But the Ace of Cups usually is about an offer of love. An offer of love, a token of either, in any situation, it usually is either a message of love or an offering, an extended hand, or it could be a message that comes through about emotions and about love. So there's a lot of emotion here for sure, but it seems like it's pointed towards just wanting to be single again. Maybe you're wondering if you should try to be single without this person knowing, because we have the Seven of Swords here. And the Seven of Swords usually is about just doing things in secret, doing things without everyone knowing, secretly taking the swords and running away. I think that, and the reason why, okay, this is terrible, but not terrible, but this is deep, because this feels like an abusive relationship. That's what this feels like. And it feels like the relationship has been so abusive and so painful. I can't believe that you have the Ace of Cups here. And you want to be brave. Like the two positive cards are actually three. There's three. I feel like you've just been through a lot. This person has been terrible with you. So I'm going to just say off the bat, if this is an abusive situation, physically abusive, emotionally abusive, financially abusive, where people try to, financial abuse is a real thing. It's when somebody controls all the finances and they hold back money from you and make you feel like you are stuck and have no way to get out. It doesn't feel like that's what kind of abuse is happening here. To me, it feels like it's emotional abuse. And that you just want peace. You want serenity. You want to get to know yourself again. I feel like that's definitely something that you have already decided. Maybe you're here for advice, and we can definitely get advice about like how do you go about this. There was that card that fell off the deck that when it was sitting here, and it's the Five of, I'm sorry, not the Five. It is the Six of Pentacles, Six of Cups. Jeez, I don't know why I'm so out of it. I apologize. It's been a challenging last few days. Let's just say that. So you've got the Six of Cups here, which is a beautiful card. And perhaps you've known this person for years. Like maybe this is somebody like a high school sweetheart, somebody you've known since elementary school even. Or maybe perhaps even another reason why this is a difficult connection to leave is because maybe family's involved. Maybe there's culture and tradition that is tied up in this connection that make it even more difficult to figure out whether leaving is a good thing to do or not. The two cards I haven't talked about yet is the Nine of Pentacles, which is a beautiful card. The Nine of Pentacles usually is all about being completely fruitful on your own, financially independent, not tied to anyone, being single. like a lone wolf. You know, I'm glad that they used the wolf here in this card, because that is a really great description of this, because you have the wolf here, but you also have the lotus here. So it talks about not only, you know, the healing brought that singlehood there, brought the confidence that the wolf has in order to be alone there. And again, with the butterfly, it speaks about transformation. So this isn't just leaving to leave for the sake of leaving. This is leaving after everything has been considered, everything has been thought out of, and after all is said and done, what brings you peace is leaving this situation. And you have the Four Swords here. And the Four Swords, it's about taking a sabbatical, right? Going into yourself. Sometimes it's oh, I didn't mention earlier, by the way, if you hear little moanings and groanings, I have my dog here. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but he's sleeping and snoring, so I apologize. But funny I mentioned that, and this little bird looks like he's sleeping. Anyway, okay. So it's about, like, if you going into prayer. Okay, that's a good example of what this card is. So it's not like there's a card called the Hermit card, which talks about going off and seeking more insight alone. This is different, because this is introspective thinking, introspection, decision making, being alone so that you have a clear head in order to make the right decision. And maybe you feel like your only choice is to not be honest about the fact that you want to leave. Maybe you haven't been honest about it in a long time. Maybe this is a long time coming. So let's get some advice. Because I'm already feeling like you, with the Devil and the Three of Swords here, I mean, absolutely it feels like a situation that has been a difficult one, an abusive one, a painful one, and then with the Ace of Cups and the Chariot, like, you've given it a good go. and with the Nine of Wands, you've given it a good heave-ho, and you still are left empty-handed in this situation. And that's not a place to be. Like, we have these connections that we learn from. We're put in a lot of these connections. We end up being bonded with either trauma or with things that we think we have in common, character traits that we have in common, but nobody reminds us and tells us that we change over time. We don't stay the same person. You know, like, who you were when you met this person is not at all who you are now. And you've evolved. And you've grown out of this person. You've grown out of being controlled. You've grown out of that. Maybe you've been hiding that, you know, to keep the peace. So let's just see. Can we get advice? What advice do you have for pile one, please, Spirit? Okay. What advice, please tell me, for pile one in this situation? Can you please give advice about this connection? Okay. Okay, sorry. I'm going to get more cards here. Clarify the Ten of Swords. Clarify the Ten of Swords for advice for pile one, please. Ay, Dios mío. Sorry. Okay. All right, tell me more about Two of Swords. Oh, that's good. And clarify the Emperor for the advice. Thank you, Spirit. Oh, it's fucking awesome. Okay, so here's the advice. The first cards that we got here were the were the Ten of Swords, okay? Ten of Swords is kind of like what you depict here. Now, swords represent intellect, thought, decision-making, but here, there's 10 swords. So you're at the point of you can't think about this any further. Like the anxiety about this, the situation has been paralyzing for you. And the advice here is kind of, this is stating the anguish that you've been in, the mental anguish that you've been in, because what clarifies it is the Seven of Wands. And the Seven of Wands is an interesting card. So, you have the bird here. He's got his one wand and the rest of the wands here. And these birds are kind of flying around erratically. And I've seen a lot of variations on what this card means. And it can mean being a defensive or feeling like you have to defend yourself. And maybe you're ready for a fight that you've created in your mind. Like you're imagining that it's going to be a horrible fight. And I think by the rest of these cards, it feels like it's not going to be as bad as you think it is. The next card that you have here is the Two of Swords. And the Two of Swords is a great card because it talks about, seeking intuition, which reminds me of the Four of Swords card. But here, usually there's a person and not a bird, but they're usually blindfolded, but the blindfold is kind of loose on them, and then they have their eyes closed and they're defensive with the two swords to make sure that in this time of introspection, they are wanting to protect themselves, right? They're not wanting, just in case somebody comes, even though they could take that blindfold off and be completely aware of their surroundings. It's like choosing not to look at something. To clarify this, we got the Sun card. Now, the Sun card is one of the most positive cards that you can get in tarot. And it is about wish fulfillment, everything that you have possibly wanted in your life is there, is like at your fingertips, is like once you do this introspection. And I'm not talking about Ten of Wands anxiety or defensiveness here with the Ten of Swords and Seven of Wands. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about having the trust in your intuition, trusting, right? The opposite of this is like the Hangman, like you are willingly putting yourself in a quiet space and meditating about how all this is going to unfold. And through that is how you're going to get this insight and the epiphany is going to come. And it's going to be everything that you've dreamed of. The other card that you got was the Emperor. And I think this is, I immediately thought of your person here. Right now, with all the history you have, the Devil is how you are looking at the situation or the person. I think the outcome, because if we have the Sun here, the outcome is going to be the Emperor. And the Emperor is a major arcana card. And the Emperor is all about being highly intelligent, able to make rational decisions, a little cold, right? A little abrasive because the Emperor has been through a lot. But he has the wisdom in order to make decisions that are not just impulsive or emotional, to be able to look at things as a matter of fact and not take everything personal. He's sturdy, he's hard-headed, but able to be very decisive when needed. And I think this is the energy your person will be in. I mean, it might be like a matter-of-fact thing, like something that you haven't talked about, and then you've been in those situations where you haven't talked about maybe something that's been on your mind, and then you finally get the courage to say it. And then that other person's like, I'm so glad you said something because I was thinking the same thing. Or in this situation, you bring up a really good point. Like, we are not doing good here. Like, we're not progressing. We're not growing. People in our family see that we're not happy. Our kids, if you have kids, they see that we're not happy. And, the fact of the matter is that we don't get to live this life forever. And at some point, you have to decide to be happy. Some people, the way our culture is here, I'm from, North America, but like the culture is very much like we do all the things that society tells us we're supposed to do. We grow up, we go to school, go to college or get a trade, find someone, you have great chemistry with them, and you think, we're 22 and 25, let's get married. Okay, great. And you think everything's perfect. And then it's, oh, but we need to have kids, right? And this is, it can be for however you identify, whatever those goals are that you grew up with. It doesn't have to be the one I'm particularly, I'm sharing from my experience. And then like, okay, so now the kids come and all that. And now the kids are there and no one warned you about how difficult it is to have kids. And things get tough. People change. When you're put in a pressure cooker, oof. And then when COVID happened and people were on lockdown, good Lord, I know for a fact that the divorce rate, I'm sure, went up after COVID. But I say all of that to say that there's going to be there might be an acknowledgement. I mean, at this point, there would be an acknowledgement from your person that they're not happy either, and that it makes sense what you're saying, how you bring it up. Then, the last card that we got is the Queen of Wands. And I mean, out of all the queens, there's 4 of them. This is the spiciest queen. This is the queen that will either rip you up and down, telling you off because you've crossed a boundary, or she's the seductive one. She's the one that everyone wants. But more than anything, I think what I love about the Queen of Wands is she's the confident female energy. She's the confident feminine energy that is able to be very, she has her intuition, she has her wits about her to make decisions that people are not expecting, to make decisions that are not traditional, and to be very, very confident about it and have good rationalization about it, and be fire, and walk away with, that's exactly who I am, and this is who I'm going to be, and this is how I want to live the rest of my life, and it's my life, and this is a good energy to end it, to end this reading, because I already know, like, this has been a fucking horrible situation, and I'm so sorry, Pile 1, that you've had to endure all of this. We hurt the people that we love the most, or that are the closest to us. But we all have the right to be happy. And we, like I said before, only know what we know at that time. Placing blame, like, oh, you should have done this better. And if you would have done this better, then none of this would be happening. Like, that's an immature way to look at things, because we all make mistakes and we all come from unhealed places. Healing comes after many decisions and choices to heal are made. And I think one of the first ones, I know for me, that helped me start my journey on healing is choosing myself and saying, my happiness is the most important thing to me. Because I've lived most of my life worrying about if I'm making other people happy. And that's not living. That is not living. Happiness is supposed to be a birthright. It's supposed to be something that we're blessed with from birth, that it's expected that we follow what makes us happy. But instead, we are conditioned to do things that are traditional, do things as our parents have done them, or even if you are a free spirit, wherever your spirit followed in the beginning when you were younger, and if you are young right now, that's going to change. It's not going to be the same. And so allowing yourself permission to change is something that's important. As far as this connection goes, I really wish you the best, and I really, really hope that, if this is an abusive, situation, please, 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 please don't do this alone. It doesn't feel like it's been a physical one. It feels like it's been an emotional one and a mental one. But yeah, I think it's time for you to walk away from the situation for sure. And it seems like you already knew that and already made that decision before you even clicked on this reading. All right, pile one, I wish you the best. I wish we could still talk about it. I am doing private readings, so please contact me, email me at CelineGiftTarot@gmail.com if you're interested in a personal reading. But if not, please subscribe and like, comment. It helps my channel. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Okay. Pile two. Boy, pile one was... It was rough. It was a hard reading. Hard reading. But you know what? That's okay. This subject matter is hard. And, you know, complex. It's not a reading I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hits on. That's for sure. But, you know, it's a valid thing that, you know, people need to, you know, that have the courage to ask themselves about whether they should stay with the situation or walk away. So, all right, here we go. So let's see. Pile two. What is going on with you? So you're here because you feel like you're in a let me know or let me go situation. Should you walk away? Should you set them free? Spirit, give me the messages that pile two needs, please. Should they walk away or let them go? No, that was my shuffling. Hold on. I'm going to try that again. Pile two. That one jumped. Okay. King of Cups. High Priestess. Five of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles. Okay. So, I think we're dealing with two people. I think that pile two, since you're watching a tarot reading about this, it feels like you're pile two. I'm sorry, pile two. Goodness. It has a 2 on there, that's why. You're the High Priestess. Isn't that a cute card? I love this deck. The Shadowland deck. So the High Priestess is, you know, the embodiment of being able to see behind the veil. So using your intuition, using insight that you've learned, that you've lived, that other people that are here in this 3D lane that we're living can't see. So you might be a light worker, you might be somebody who has been through a lot of trauma in your life. You are very sensitive, you're able to see things that other people don't notice. You're able to tap into the darkness, the shadow of other people. You see that very clearly. I think you've been sad, that's for sure. The King of Cups is one of the kings in the tarot. There's 4 of them. This is the one that's the most watery, it is water, it is emotion, it is wishy-washy. It's, you know, it can be definitely a masculine energy that has a lot of emotion. What hits me is this shell here. So I feel like this person has a lot of emotion, but they keep it inside, and they do a lot of protecting by working, by going to work, pretending that they're not feeling what they're feeling. But you know what's going on. All right. We have the 5 of Pentacles, and the 5 of Pentacles is about sadness, being left out in the cold, not being, you know, either not being Either this King of Cups has not been honest with you about what they're feeling and what's going on. They've kept you out of things that you already know are going on and you're already feeling. So it's kind of super annoying, I have to say, because I've been in this situation where you already know. Like, you probably have some claircognizance, which I have, where you don't have any facts to go on, but but somehow you can just say exactly what is happening in a situation, or what someone's going through in their life just by looking at them. But yes, you've been left out on the cold. You've been cut off, and you're wishing that you could just get an Ace of Pentacles. So can you throw me a bone, right? Like, can you throw me something? Can you give me something tangible? Can you give me something that I can work with here, please? Because you're on the verge of letting this person go. You are right there. And they've been taking their time, which is fitting that, that the crystal was the turtle, actually. Pretty damn fitting there. All right, let's get some information here. So okay, there's another 5. I'll put that over there. Because that just fell out. 5 of Swords. Okay, let's get some more about pile 2 and if they should walk away. More about pile 2 and if they should walk away. Whoa, that flew off. Let's see. Is that it? Yeah. Okay. Oh. That's funny. This is the Fool card. And the Fool card is usually depicted with somebody who is jumping off of a cliff. And this is the card that jumped off the desk. I thought that was funny. Interesting. Okay. Maybe you should let them go. Maybe that's what that was about. Let's see. Tell us more. Advice for pile 2. Should they let them go? Yes. That's my shuffling. Sorry. This is a new deck, so it's not broken in. Oop, that one we're going to take for sure. Ace of Swords. Okay. 10 of Cups. Knight of Cups. All right. So, what I'm getting from this, you have the 10 of Cups here. Okay. We have the Knight of Pentacles. I'm sorry, Knight of Cups. The Fool. This is the card that jumped off the desk. The 2 of Wands. Okay. And then the last card here is the Ace of Swords. So, when I look at these cards, I feel like the 10 of Cups falling under the King of Cups is where he's at as far as, and it could be male, female, it's just the energy, right? The masculine in this connection has a lot of feelings for you. Like, you see how this paint, that it's all overflowing and messy? Little crab there. Like, lots of love. Like, they feel like you are their wish fulfillment. Like, they are, you check all their boxes. You check all their boxes. And that breaks my heart because you don't know that yet. And he's leaving you out in the cold, which I'm not surprised you're here. Because if he doesn't let you in, he's going to lose the best thing that ever happened to him. He's going to lose the best thing that ever happened to him. Under you've got the Knight of Cups. I feel like you think he's the Knight of Cups. This is your perception of him. Is Knight of Cups not very forward masculine energy, more like more take the back seat, maybe emotionally inept or immature. And those inept, immature, those are pretty negative terms. And I sometimes just say what comes out of my mouth. I don't mean that this person is inept. I mean, this could be a highly intelligent, like, might have an IQ of, like, 140, 200, whatever. It's not about that. It's about being emotionally in touch. They're not in touch. Emotionally not in touch. Emotionally immature. And being emotionally immature is super, super common. I mean, a lot of people are emotionally immature. A lot of people find it very difficult to grasp emotions because it's like sand. It's like trying to catch water with your fingers, with your hand open. That's how it is. I think it's hard. It's elusive. It's hard to grasp sometimes, like what the right decision to make about emotions is. Being intellectual about situations and even romance is easy to do. I've done it many, many, many times. Most of my life I've been that way. And for me, like personally anyway, I started off being I can be very intellectual about other people's lives, right? Because I'm sensitive to, and I have a lot of intuition, and I have some gifts and abilities, and I can give advice and see the problem very clearly, where others are feel like they have zero visibility in the fog. So, so for me, for my emotions, I would be a fucking mess. I couldn't see shit. I was like, I don't know what to do. And it would like overflow into mental anxiety and anguish about a situation because I don't know. I immediately want to take it personal. I immediately want to run away. I immediately want to hit somebody sometimes, because I can't differentiate between what's anger, what's frustration, what is, mourning and feeling sad. Like all of that was so hard for me to figure out. And, I feel like that's where your person is at. And they're guarding themselves. They're just not letting you in. So, I mean, if you don't have the communication, then yeah, they're going to be the Knight of Cups. That's how you're going to see them. You got to communicate, right? Like I feel like me and you are we have some commonalities, I think, me and you, or this pile is speaking to me. So I don't know. But I'm going to say that, I've been in a situation where I am left out in the cold and I'm not included in what's happening. But I know what's happening and I can help. Like, it's almost like seeing someone's tire, bust out on the freeway. You've got everything you need to change a tire. And the person is just in their car, not helping themselves, even though that car is got a flat tire, and they're not flagging down you for help or anyone down for help. And you have all the tools to help them, but they're just not doing anything. And it is super frustrating to see people that way and especially in relationships and specifically when it comes to love, because I feel so passionate about us, the collective, seeking out our own happiness and finding love that is genuine and pure, because we have been conditioned in so many ways to hold our feelings in, especially when it comes to masculine energy. They're taught to hold their feelings in. They're taught, to be a man, men don't cry, suck it up, buttercup, you're not supposed to understand women, so don't even try. All of those toxic masculine things. And then women, we're not any better, because then we're taught like, oh, you have to, don't do everything to make sure that he likes you. Make sure that you're thin, make sure that you dress nicely, make sure that you smell good all the time, make sure that your eyes are plucked and your legs are shaved and you've gotten your hair done, and make sure that you're physical and that you're intelligent and that we have to have all these things to be ready, just so that we can sit and hope a man picks us. Like, it's just as toxic. Okay. So here we are. We find ourselves in these kind of weird mismatched situations where you have someone who's open, intuitive, knows how to probably love this King of Cups and give him the tools that he needs in order to break down the shell and be who he always had thought it. He's always been a King of Cups, but people in his life might have made him feel like, no, you should be a King of Swords. You should be harsh. You should be cold. You should be completely intellectual about everything in your life and make decisions that are wise every single time without error. That's not humanly possible. And it's abusive to even put that on someone like that, in my opinion. But I digress. Okay, so then we have, the Fool, the Seeker. And this card, like I said, it usually has a whole person. This person doesn't have a head, apparently. It's on the floor. So, there is a story that you can look up that explains the major arcana in tarot. It's actually a story. And the Fool is the one that starts off the story. He's number 0. And he's taking off, jumping off this cliff. At the end of that story, he's coming back. And so part of it is not experiencing the journey yet. And the other part of it is, okay, have they come back from their journey? Like, why is his head on the floor, right? Where was he that happened? So I think that this falling under the 5 of Pentacles, you felt like a fool. You feel like a fool. You feel like an idiot. And I say that passionately because I have felt the same thing. I don't know if I'm channeling your energy or what, but I feel super indignant about your situation here. But yeah, you feel like a fool. Like I think the mistake you're making is comparing this connection to what social standards are for connections. Okay, so a person holding out for someone that has not shared their heart with you, but yet is holding all this emotion. Man, why the fuck are you there? Like, dude, you are a fool. Your friends would tell you you're a fool. Anybody would tell you you're a fool, but you probably aren't telling anybody about this situation. But yeah, deep inside that, you feel like you've been left out. You're out in the cold and you feel like you've been a fool. Like, you should have known because you've been through this before, perhaps. And then under the Ace of Pentacles, we have the 2 of Wands. And it's the back and forth about whether should you stay or should you go? Should you stay? Should you go? Who's going to give next? Is this person going to communicate? They could have cut you off with communication. They might not even communicate with you at all. Maybe this was a false start where you guys started off communicating and then that you got cut the fuck off. But you already have all this knowledge about this person. And this person thinks you don't, which is incredible to me. And I feel like you're the only person, the High Priestess, she is high up there. And there are other characters in tarot that could take this guy's place. We have the Emperor, the King of Wands. There's other characters that, the King of Cups doesn't realize, especially since he has a shell on his head, doesn't realize or see that he can be replaced easily by somebody who is more emotionally intelligent. And you know what? The person doesn't even need to be that, because you already know. You will already know what you encounter. You'll know if that person's like amazing and they just have a little bit to work on, maybe I can help them. Maybe that's why they came into my life, because you have the intuition to say, not all connections are for nothing, right? Like, people that come across you or cross your path are there for a reason. That's why the King of Cups showed up. But he doesn't realize that he can be replaced easily. And there's other people that share your vibration. In fact, the Magician sometimes is used as the counterpart to the High Priestess. You could find someone in your life that actually meets your emotional and spiritual needs, in the sense that there's reciprocation. There's reciprocation. Is that right? It's reciprocal, is what I'm trying to say. Okay? Where, you give, they give. You give, they give. Oh my God. You water me, I water you. Imagine that. Which is supposed to be what relationships are. But we can be so emotionally constipated. It's so frustrating. Anyway, sorry. Lastly, we have the Ace of Swords. So the Ace of Swords is about an epiphany. It is about some kind of information, advice, sign from the universe, sign after you've done a lot of meditating, perhaps, that's going to guide you on what decision to make. So let's get a couple more cards here. Should pile 2 leave this connection? Another 5. Good Lord. Should pile 2 leave this connection? Should pile 2 leave this connection? How many are there? Okay, that's 2. All right. Okay, so like I said, there's more characters that can replace this King of Cups. To put it in perspective, we have the Hierophant. Now, the Hierophant represents, like, in the 3D, in the 3D, this world that we live in represents like a teacher, a spiritual teacher, or the head of a large company, or the head of a large church, or they teach a lot of people. They're a figure, a leader in the community. They're somebody that has a lot of wisdom to impart. They're grounded. It's like earth energy. It's fertile soil. Look at all the roots that he has here. And he has a lot to give and a lot to share. So let's think about that. Let's put that here. Let's put that in between. Let's put him right over here, like on top of the King of Cups. Then we have, well, son of a bitch. I mentioned him, and here we are. King of Swords. This is the guy that I was saying that maybe your King of Cups has been raised to see himself as a King of Swords, to be somebody that is not emotionally tied in so much. Actually, can have the tendencies of being very cold and intellectual about decisions. Kind of like a doctor in some ways, you know, like being a medical professional myself, it's like you do have to kind of put things in a compartment, yet emotions have to be put to the side, because you'd be crying all day, you know, if you just tapped into your emotions all the time. You have to know how to turn it off, have the poker face. Or a lawyer is another good example, you know, or somebody who has to make a lot of tough decisions all the time. Somebody in finance. We got to cut this, we got to cut that. We can't give that person that money anymore, that kind of thing. Okay. Now, I wonder, High Priestess, if pile 2, if these are people that are going to be coming into your life, or the universe is saying you have options. Maybe the universe is repeating what already came through as far as you having options out there. So let's see more. We have the 5 of Wands. So the 5 of Wands is interesting because wands have to do with passion. So passion, it's a good example, like when everybody shows up to a race and everybody's got the rah-rah, they're all excited, all that gusto. That is kind of what the wands represent. So that could, depending on the number, can be anything from being really, really excited about something and happy, or very confusing. And this is one of those cards that's about being confused. It's discord. It's chaos. It's everybody wanting to do something but not having a direction. It could be the energy you've been in. Like you have a lot of passion for this person, but where do you put it? This person hasn't given you shit. All this eagerness to help for nothing. Then we have, I almost said girl. I don't know. You could be a man. It doesn't matter, but the devil. All right. The devil came out in pile 1 too, but the devil here in this situation, I think, is much different. And the devil talks about being having, all the things about her character that we don't really like. So it's about like obsession. It could be addiction. It could be obsession could be about anything. Like it could be obsession about worry, obsession about the connection, obsession about love, obsession about sex, feeling sexual feelings for this person, not knowing what to do with the sexual thing. And maybe that's it too. I mean, maybe because you've been kind of suppressed, this person hasn't been opening up to you at all, even feelings or even indulging in the sexual tension that you might be having with this person. They're not even entertaining that, I don't think. There's just confusion here when it comes to, we have the Hierophant, the King of Swords, and the Devil, and just discord. So I'm not sure if this is maybe the personalities that your person goes through. And I'm getting chills on my left side. I'm not saying that your person has different personalities in a serious manner. What I'm saying is that when I was talking about having emotion and not knowing how to categorize it and deal with the difference between each emotion, it's interesting to have the Hierophant, that's spirituality. We have King of Swords being divisive, and we have the Devil, which is full of passion and lust and attraction and obsession. And if he has all of these 10 of Cups there, that's a lot overflowing. It could be condensed into this Devil energy. Okay, so what advice then? What does pile 2 do? That's a lot, Spirit. All right. 9 of Swords. Ooh, hello. Ooh, the Empress. Okay. Let's see. Now they're coming out. All right. Ace of Cups. More advice, please, for pile 2. Advice for pile 2, please. Wow. Okay. And who is the King of Wands? Oh, you know what I'm going to do? Okay. So I use a pendulum sometimes. And I didn't do this for pile 1, but let's do it because we have so many different characters here. Let me just go through these 4 cards. So you got the 9 of Swords. Which kind of just confirms that this connection has haunted you, and I'm getting chills on my left side again. It has haunted you. You've had dreams about this person. You've had nightmares about being left behind or not being chosen or not having all the information needed in the task that's happening in the dream. But you've been stressed out about this connection, which explains why you're here, right? And then we have the Empress. And the Empress speaks to me about loving yourself, taking care of yourself. Focus on yourself. Focus on growth. Focus on, creating, whether it be picking up a hobby or focusing on your family, focusing on your children if you have them, focusing on gardening, whatever the case may be. But she is the combination of all the 4 queens in tarot. And she is the counterpart to, I think he came out here. Or am I confused? I think I'm confused. The Emperor must have been in the other deck. Okay, the other reading. But the Empress definitely, she has her counterpart, which is the Emperor. But I think that where you're being guided is to love yourself. Stop stressing. Love yourself. And then you have the King of Wands. That's the 3rd king. So what I want to ask with my pendulum is who is Who is the King of Wands? Is this saying, by not stressing and loving yourself, someone new and passionate is going to be coming in your life? Or is focusing on yourself, not stressing and focusing on yourself, going to help your King of Cups evolve into the King of Wands? So let's see. Here's my pendulum. So I steady my hand here on a desk, usually, or I kind of put my body against my arm so that it doesn't move, pretty much. But you'll know when it's time to move, it's going to really move, okay? So we're going to do back and forth. Please show me yes. Please show me no. Thank you. Is the King of Wands a transformed King of Cups for pile 2? Okay. Now that answers the question, because I feel very confident about my intuition with the other ones. You know, that when I mentioned the King of Swords and also the Hierophant, I feel like your person has all of that in them. So then naturally, the King of Wands would be somebody that he would evolve into, because once this shell is broken, it's going to be fire. Like my grandma used to say in Spanish, prepárate. Prepare yourself for the passion, for the lust, for all the tingles, okay? But what is underneath this King of Wands, because typically the King of Wands is like a fuckboy, like somebody that you would not want to be with, right? Unless that's what you're wanting. But the King of Wands is the product of, for this person, of all of the components of the other kings rolled up into one. But now, instead of hiding his face in a shell, he is out there in all its glory, and all the fire. And all the fire, all the passion is in there. And it's going to be revealed. I do think, though, that your person does have a lot of growing to do. There's some things that and I don't even know if it needs to be a lot, right? I mean, like, how thick is this shell? Really? Shells really are not that, they give an illusion of strength, right? Like the little hermit crab or snail thinks, I got a good shell. And then somebody steps on them, and then that's not the case, right? So, is it that, as serious as, this King of Cups has so much work to do? No. I don't think he has much work to do at all. I think he just needs to open his mouth, because what your Ten of Cups doesn't understand is that you are fertile ground. You are a safe place to land. You are the net. You're not going to hurt him. You're not going to use those emotions against them. You're able to handle that. And that's probably why the purpose of you being in this person's life. And it's so frustrating for me and for you to know these things and know that you're not going to hurt them. You're going to hold them with like little gentle gloves. And even if it is a waterfall or a whole dam that breaks of emotion that this person has to share. I mean, and I'm talking like crying and boogers and all that, okay? You would not judge that person. You would be like, yes, okay. Let me help you with that. You're not alone. You don't have to be afraid anymore. And that's so beautiful. So for the opportunity that happens, keep on loving yourself. Keep on loving yourself. Keep on loving yourself. As far as communication is concerned, I think that there's going to be some type of epiphany about that. But I think that you should, in this situation, definitely be putting yourself first. And if it means that you stop communicating, then do that. If it means that you erase their number and just move on, then do that. Do what you feel is going to make you happy. Because like I said, happiness should be the goal. But understand that the purpose of you crossing paths with this other person was and still is to be the medicine that this person's heart has needed all of his life. You're the medicine. And, it's interesting that I mentioned that because I'll say it here. I was watching something online, and because I like a lot of things that spiritual quotes and stuff like that, I get a lot of these people who are content creators. And this person, he was a man, and he was talking about the roles of women and men, and how things should have been initially. And we're talking about masculine and feminine energy. We're not talking about like what's in your pants. So what he said is that women were always meant to live in the realm of intuition. So we were always meant to have intuition, to anticipate needs, anticipate, problems coming up, anticipate emotions, anticipate decisions that might need to be made, that we're more in touch, like the high priestess. And that men they live more like in the 3D. So they are more like, what are the steps that need to be taken in order to make this thing possible? What do I need to do in order to build this house? How much wood do I need? How much, drywall do I need? How much this? How much that? Right? Because that's also super, super important. You can't have one without the other. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about your person. And if your person taps onto this reading, please communicate with your high priestess, because she's the best thing that's ever happened to you. I'll just say that. All right, pile 2. All right, I'm going to leave it there because this has been long enough. But I want to let you know that I am open for private readings, and you can email me at Celine Moon Goddess Tarot. I'm sorry, no, it's actually CelineGiftTarot@gmail.com. All right, thank you very much. All right. Sorry about that. All right, here we go. Pile 3. This has been a long reading, and I did not anticipate it being this long. So here we are. You chose the selenite. Let's see, pile 3. Oh wait, let's see. This fell actually, so that's not. All right, sorry. All right, let's shuffle this situation. This is a kind of newer deck. So pile 3 you get the fancy shuffle. All right, so should you stay or should you go? What does pile 3 need to hear? All right, let's start with that. Ooh. Oh my goodness. So all three piles had the devil. Interesting. I don't take reversals, by the way. And death. On the Knight of Cups. Okay. Let's see. Well, immediately, you've been stressed out. Immediately, you've been stressed out. This connection has stressed you out, for sure. And I think what stresses you out about this connection is that you have intense feelings and emotions for this person. Like super intense. Like you see this like devil energy and how they are wrapped around this man. Maybe they're a temptation for you. Maybe you feel for some reason like that you guys are very different and don't, like, maybe, let's say you're a very kind of vanilla type person and this person is the opposite. And you're like, oh no, this is temptation. Like, this person is too much for me. This person, when I think about them, I get excited. Like that kind of obsession. And then we have death. Now, death doesn't mean dying. It doesn't mean death. It means transformation. It means growth. It means like there's something about this person. Either the person has been through a lot and is complex and decadent in how they've transformed. They could be a Scorpio also. And that's intimidating to you. And you feel inadequate with the Knight of Cups here. You feel like, because it's not the King of Cups, right? And it's you coming in and offering your cup of love, like, I hope you like me, I like you, when in fact you're really obsessed with this person. And you want to know whether you need to just walk away, because you already feel like you want to give up before you started it. That's what it feels like. We also got the World. That is a beautiful card. This card is all about transformation, but in the sense that going from one transition to another. So just the way we look at going from, adolescence to being a teenager to being an adult, like that. Like, you're not the same. You move on to a different, completely different transition, like a caterpillar to a butterfly. And this can be anything from energy that you've been in. It could be, like, for example, if you've been very stressed out, right? Stressed out about this connection. Or changing from being stressed out to being completely accepting of this connection. So that's coming here. That's coming in. And then we have the Two of Swords, which the Two of Swords is about, like, this person happens to have a mask on, but usually it is a woman with a bandana, or like her eyes are blindfolded and she has the two swords up, and the two swords are kind of like, okay, like, I'll look inside and look for my intuition, but I'm scared. I'm defensive. And what's interesting about the depiction that where they have a bandana, or I should say a blindfold, is that it's kind of loosely on her face and can just come off. So it's a choice that's being made to be scared and be defensive. It's not needed in this situation, but it's something that this person feels that they need to do. So maybe your fear has been misguided, and what really this is about is your insecurity. And this person might provoke those feelings from you, because the universe wants you, universe, God, or whatever you want to call, higher power, sees this being a roadblock for you in your growth, and has provided someone to help you with that, because your person, in the same respect, has done the transformation. Remember, when I was mentioning being decadent and being completely, transformed multiple times, that she's complete. And we have the Seven of Swords, so you're hiding this. You're hiding this, and we know it. Pile 3. I don't mean to laugh at you, but I giggle because it's a familiar scenario to me. And I think because I see it so clearly, I guess I can giggle at it a little bit, but it's not, I'm not making fun of you, because this is a serious thing. Because this person that's been put in your life is not for the weak. And I will remind you, Pile 3, that when you're given someone like this or put in situations that are overwhelming, right, with the Nine of Swords energy, that it's because the universe believes that you can handle it. You might not believe it, but the universe already knows you can and already knows your potential. It's similar to, like, if you have kids. And if you don't have kids, let's say you get a puppy. Okay. You look, like, let's say you get a German Shepherd, and you know they're just super intelligent, and you see all the potential in that little puppy. But all that puppy wants to do is chase his tail, lick its butt. Not lick its butt. Cats do that. Chase his tail, smell poop, run around, drool everywhere, and eat your shoes. And you're looking at the pup, you're like, you can work with the army and police force. Like, you are intelligent, but it's going to require some training. I think that the universe looks at us that way sometimes. God or whoever. Look, the higher power looks at us little ants of humans here and sees the potential. And sometimes we don't realize it ourselves, and we're afraid, to learn the new trick. We're afraid to learn the things that we need to learn in order to grow and blossom and elevate ourselves. And I think that's what this situation is teaching you. So let's get some more. What else do you need to share with Pile 3 about this situation? Should they walk away? Should Pile 3 walk away? Should Pile 3 walk away? Okay. They're coming out in chunks. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to say this right now. If you picked Pile 3 only, I suggest that you go back and look at Pile 2. Because we have the Nine of Swords came out in Pile 2. The Devil came out in Pile 2. The Knight of Cups came out in Pile 2. And now we have the King of Wands. And this is a different deck. They came out in Pile 2. The Fool came out in Pile 2. Oh my God. What? The Five of Wands came out in Pile 2 too. Okay. I'm just going to say that if this person watches tarot readings, like, these are counterpart readings. So your person is Pile 2 and you are Pile 3. That's insane. That's never happened to me before. Okay. Okay, that has never happened to me before. I'm sorry, I'm like taken by that. So the King of Wands, I guess I'm going to reference Pile 2 a little bit here, because I think that you're seeing yourself as the King of Cups. Or I'm sorry, the Nine of Cups. Oh, this is so eerie. Okay. But inside you are this King of Wands. Like, inside, the King of Wands is charismatic, attractive, kind, someone that everyone wants to be around, really, that everybody has no problem with. Like, everybody, like he's the star athlete on the team. He's the, high school captain of the football team, right? He's the crush that everybody has that everybody has at work. He's smart. He's all of that. But also super sexy. So the King of Wands, like, your person might really feel that you're the King of Wands, and you are seeing yourself as the the Knight of Cups. Like, here's my little cup, and your person's like, he's it. Like, he floats my boat. And if your person has been through a lot and has seen a lot, I'm going to guarantee you that they're picky. They're not somebody who just picks anybody. There's a purpose to this. Your person is not going to invest in a connection if it's not worth their time, worth their feelings, worth their heart. And if you're thinking about walking away, I'm going to say that would be the wrong choice, because you haven't done the evolution that you need to do. And it's not much. Like, sometimes it's just, when you look at this, you look at the Knight of Cups and the King of Wands, it's like, there's this like cool energy, easy does it. But if this is sizzling underneath your skin and you've maybe been suppressing it, this is who you are. Like, and if you think that this person can't handle it, you're wrong. Because the other card that we got is the Sun. Isn't that spectacular? I love this card. It's the Sun. It is the wish fulfillment. It is everything that you can imagine with this connection is possible. Whatever makes you happy. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't need to be the traditional idea of what happiness is or what relationships should be. It is your happiness. Detailed, tailored for your heart and for this person's heart. And I will say, because you got the Fool, so you're going to have to jump off the cliff here and take a chance and see what happens. And what will happen is you're going to be pleasantly fucking surprised. You're going to be surprised. Let's see. Okay, so let's do this. And I didn't do this for the other piles, but we're going to do this. So I'm going to just make these all me. So now we know if you stay in this connection, let's put the Knight of Cups here. Okay. If you stay in this connection, take a chance. Here's the Sun. Okay. So what happens? 3 cards, please. 3 cards. If pile 3 walks away, what is the outcome? 3 cards, please, Spirit. If pile 3 walks away, what will be the outcome? If pile 3 walks away from the connection, oh my God. This is another card that was in pile 2. You've got to be kidding me. Ay, Dios mío. Okay. This connection, if you are associated with pile 2, like, listen to pile 2. And if it sounds like your situation, this is a higher level connection. This is a connection that if you guys meet in the middle, like, you take the chance and the person that you haven't taken the chance on waits just a little bit longer, the power that's going to come from you two, like, I don't know what you're going to do. Start a business, create some kind of educational tool, whatever you're going to do, whatever this is, it's going to be powerful, and it's going to be used to help people, either emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. It has a big purpose, and maybe that's why it's turned into what it's turned into, or why it's taking so long, and why you're undecided. But I digress. Okay, one more card for if pile 3 does not choose their person, what will happen? What will be the outcome? If pile 3 does not choose their person, if pile 3 walks away, what will be the outcome, please, Spirit? Oh, shit. Dude, the cards don't lie. They don't lie. You got the Hangman. So if you don't choose this connection, you're going to be staying in limbo, in a state of not changing. Like you're the caterpillar that hung itself up, but you just stay mush and stay the same. You don't transform. Which, we talked about the world and the transformation, right? But if you don't choose this connection, and you choose to walk away and not be courageous like the fool is, who jumps off the cliff and it's just like that kind of childlike eagerness. Let's see what happens. If you don't do that, you're just going to be staying in a state of wonder, in a state of, maybe I let this person, maybe I made the wrong decision. You'll go back and forth. You won't change. You won't transform. You'll stay in your situation. And you will stay stuck in tradition that does not fulfill your soul. The Hierophant is a teacher. You see here, this is some type of shaman, I believe, and their students. But it's about institution. It's about being a teacher, but not in this case. In this case, it would be in a more negative light, like staying stagnant, staying in a situation that is not fulfilling, that maybe intellectually makes sense, that maybe on the outside makes sense to other people, but inside, speaking of church, it makes me think of that scripture. There's a scripture that talks about the Pharisees and talks about how I think Jesus was trying to explain why he didn't like the Pharisees. I think it's when he threw the tables up in the temple. And he told them that outside that their robes are all nice and white and perfect, but inside they're tombs and bones or something like that. Yes, that's extreme, but the idea is that you won't be fulfilled on the inside, and tradition will take over your life, and that will be what you end up with. And the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is being defeated. You will be defeated. Your thoughts, your fears, your anxieties about this connection and taking the chance is going to multiply, because now it's going to be mixed with regret. Now it's going to be mixed with, I should have taken that chance. I was a fool. And not being able to go back. Not being able to go find your son again. You need to go to your person. Take the chance. To communicate. You might be very pleasantly surprised. All these fears that you have, all these things here that scare you, worries. Is this person too much for me? Am I not enough for the person? What if it doesn't work out? All that stuff. First of all, I'm going to say if your person has been through... Let me get my examples here. This is what I get for mixing up your cards. Sorry, pile 3. I'm looking for a specific one. Okay, death and this. Okay, so if your person is so complex and so decadent with their character, their personality, how they joke around, how they walk about this planet, how they go about problems, how they go about their work or education or whatever. If they are this multifaceted, where we have the devil, that's a sexual component. The being able to deal with darkness, coming from dark places and surviving over and over and over again, to transform into the being that they are today. I don't know how good it can get, how much better it can get for you. Like, this person is meant to do something in your life to help you. So that is your outcome. So if you choose this connection with Little Miss Muffet or Mr. Muffet, whoever this is, the outcome at this moment would be absolutely your wish come true. Whatever you imagine, whatever your truest wish is. And ask yourself that. What do you really want? What would really make you happy? What would make you feel less stressed? Is it marrying this person? Is it dating the person? Is it having an adult companionship connection with this person, what you want? Because that's all valid. Those are all real things that people want. There's multiple things you can think of that people want as a connection that are unique. Then you would be a fool for not choosing this person. And you're going to regret it. So if that's not straightforward, I don't know what is, pile 3, but sweet Jesus, that was amazing. I want to say thank you so much for stopping by. Please like and comment. Please subscribe. I really want to grow my channel a little bit. If you would like a private reading, you can email me at CelineGiftTarot@gmail.com, and I can talk about the manner in which to do so and pricing and things like that. Otherwise, I wish you the best, pile 3. Go get that. Go get your little pumpkin. Go get your little love bunny. Stop being a ding dong. All right. Until next time. Bye.